Yes, now I get to use what is probably my favorite utility in any of the original Mega Man games. That would be Rush Marine. I get to ride the waves in my dog. Ugh. Woo! That's a neat trick, and it's only available in Mega Man 3, even though Rush Marine comes back, later. You can jump out of the water in this one. Little known fact, actually. A lot of people just aren't aware of it. Not that it's all that useful, but you can do some fun stuff like this. I love doing this. This is why I love Rush Marine. But the fun is over all too quickly. Now, this section here is another reason not to go to Gemini Man stage first. Oh, did I mention you shouldn't go to Gemini Man stage first? Bad news. Woo, smoke those guys. Yeah, you shouldn't go to Gemini Man stage first because of that water section. Really, really hard jumping if you don't have Rush Marine, or Rush Jet for that matter. And that initial opening section, like I was talking about before, is hard without Magnet Missile or lots of practice. And Gemini Man himself, if you don't have a special weapon to take him down, can be, well, kind of a pain. I apologize, this has been a really shoddy run of Gemini Man stage. I mean, yeah, sure, I've been getting the job done, and he's dead and everything, but just totally lacked the elegance, the grace, the poise, the panache, the pizzazz of all of the other stages so far. At least, I happen to think so, but I just hold myself to a higher standard, that's all. I know I could have done better, and I guess next time there will be more show-offery, indeed. Well, the 8 Robot Masters are defeated, and I can bring all the materials back to Dr. Light and Dr. Wily to build Gamma. Confused and frightened. Why, yes, that is exactly the punctuation mark that I'm looking for. What's going on? Never mind that, there's no time for questions now. It's time for action. It's time for shooting laser beams and bouncing them off of walls, and questioning who on Earth had the time to remodel Sparkman stage in the past 20 minutes. Oh well. Gemini Laser is my favorite weapon in all of Mega Man 3. It's not the best weapon, but it's my favorite. There's something undeniably fun about bouncing laser beams off of walls, especially laser beams that go when you fire them off. Great sound effects. Unfortunately, Gemini Man's weapon is limited in its usefulness because it's so slow. Now, if this were a speedy laser beam that bounced all over the place in a short amount of time, covered the whole room, you could wreak a lot of havoc with that. Sadly, I believe it's the second slowest weapon in the game, next to Hard Knuckle, which just almost doesn't move. And so if you're trying to use the bouncy properties of the laser, you need a stationary target, which doesn't always occur in this game. So usually, you just need to shoot enemies at point-blank range, which kind of defeats the purpose of it bouncing around the... What? Metal Man? Metal Man, I killed you twice already! It's like the ghost of Robot Master's past. What is going on? Well, guess the only choice is to shoot him. Ow. Okay, apparently he's a little bit harder to dodge, or his shots are a little bit harder to dodge than in Mega Man 2, but it begs the question, why is he here? And what other secrets are in store? And why am I throwing myself so close to those spikes? That's dangerous. Someone could poke an eye out. This has got to be my least favorite section of the entire game, and even saying least favorite implies a little bit more credit than I want to give it. See, favorite suggests that there's some liking involved here, and there's no liking involved. I don't like this section because it's all waiting for enemies to get out of your way. You just need to be overly patient. There's a certain degree of patience that's okay in a platformer, but this feels like it's just too much, especially because there's nothing that you can do about it. You can't bypass this section with Rush, and none of your weapons are useful at all in harming the enemies, so you can either wait or just run through there and take a serious beating. My two biggest issues with this game are that the weapons aren't nearly helpful enough, and that the enemies require way too much precision and patience to destroy. If those two issues were addressed, I'd be mostly okay. Sort of tying into this is the fact that some of the boss vulnerabilities were not well thought out. Case in point, Gemini Laser is effective against Quick Man. Unfortunately, Gemini Laser is slow. Quick Man is quick. I think you can see the trouble with the discrepancy here. Now, if you actually manage to hit him, he falls in no time. But if you miss, you need to frantically dodge around the room, trying to buy yourself some time until you can pause the game and switch to a different weapon, or until your shot finally leaves the screen or miraculously hits Quickman. And next up, we're fighting the Riddler. Riddle me this, Batman. Why is it that the vast majority of weapons in Mega Man 3 all fire small projectiles in a straight line? Think about it. Magnet Missile, Hard Knuckle, Spark Shock, Gemini Laser, Needle Cannon, and, sort of, Surge Snake and a little bit Shadow Blade. Topspin is the only exception, and that's just lame. All of the weapons, almost, in Mega Man 3, at least at the beginning, fire a small projectile in a straight line. Compare this to the previous Mega Man games, where you could pick up boulders and toss them at people, where you could fire large thunder beams in 3 different directions at once, where you could freeze every enemy on the entire screen and all of the obstacles, where you could surround yourself with razor-sharp leaves that tore up anything that got close to you. These are the weapons that I play the Mega Man games for. I mean, one of the largest, reasons that I play the Mega Man games is that the variety of weapons offers all kinds of different options for playing through the stages. It changes the gameplay dynamic, and so many of the weapons in Mega Man 3 are lackluster, they're underpowered, they have a serious flaw, or they're just too similar. Not the same variety that the other Mega Man games have, and this is why I'm so disappointed by Mega Man 3. This is why I want to complain, because I feel like I'm being cheated out of one of the biggest reasons that I play these games in the first place. So, it's saddening to me that the weapons aren't as cool or as diverse as they could be. I am sad. But I can't dwell on this. Not anymore. You've heard me dwell on this for far too long. So this is the Doc robot of this half of the stage, taking on the programming of Woodman, except he's bigger than Woodman, so I'm going to fly over him with Rush Jet, because at this point, it's almost impossible to leap over his leaves and not get hit. So I got hit anyhow. The trouble is, because he's so much taller, his leaf shield is also taller, so you need to be at the absolute pinnacle of your jump to avoid getting hit. This is extremely difficult to do. It needs to be almost pixel perfect, so it's entirely conceivable that you would get hit with every single one of those leaves, even if you totally aced Woodman in Mega Man 2, fighting him the first time. Alright, I want you to watch this. Shadow Blade. Shadow Blade being awesome. Shadow Blade, well, being worthless, but that's beside the point. Magnet Missile being cool. Magnet Missile being very cool. Magnet Missile being extremely cool. Magnet Missile saving my bacon so that I don't get knocked backwards into that instant pit of death. There are good uses for the weapons in this game, and I do have fun using the weapons sometimes in certain situations. So, don't get the idea that I totally hate all of the weapons in this game, because that's just not the case. Our next boss battle is with the Doc Robot version of Heat Man. The problem with all of the Doc Robots is that they're bigger than the ones in Mega Man 2, which is why I got hit. That's what I was saying before about the whole bounding box thing. I'm pretty sure that I dodged that. It just, for whatever reason, decided to make me take damage because I'm just going to do so well otherwise in this fight. They had to sully my image a little bit. No, I think it's that the flame pillars are taller than they were in Mega Man 2, and it's tougher to dodge. Watch this. Top spin? You didn't even really see me spin, did you? Just sort of hop on his head. It's like I'm Mario. It's like I'm Mario. There you go. I think I've got most of the nagging and belly aching out of my system now, so let's just do a fresh start and go on to the next stage where we face off against obscure superhero, The Question.